I just recently returned back home from two important conferences. First conference was in California with the Smart Credit Conference, and the second conference was in New Orleans with the FinCon Conference. Both of these conferences focused on information in the credit and financial industries. And in my journey, I found employees that work for Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, and they shared with me the secrets to remove any account off of your credit report. Now, with this information, it is important that you follow each step in order to remove those accounts off of your credit reports. And you want to make sure you watch this video to the end, because the last step is one of the most important steps. Now, with the information they shared with me, I'm going to break it down to 5 credit hacks and steps that you need to take. But first, you must understand what they shared with me about the credit bureaus. The credit bureaus make money off of data. So when it comes to the credit bureaus, they sell your information to banks and lenders. You must understand that banks make their money primarily off of interest and annual fees. So with banks, it is in their best interest to make sure that when they lend to you, they can lend to you at the highest interest rate. So what that means for you, the more negatives on your credit profile, the more interest the bank can justify charging you. So they pay credit bureaus more money for negative profiles because they can charge you more interest and extend you less credit to minimize their risk. So you're getting a smaller credit card account, for example, with a higher interest rate, and the banks make more money off of you. So understand, with the credit bureaus, you are not their customer, you're their products. So when it comes to your disputes, they are trying not to remove these negative items simply because they'll lose money. And it costs them more when you're sending in these disputes, because they're forced by the federal government under the Fair Credit Reporting Act to respond to you. And it costs them more money in order to respond to your disputes. So they have automated systems to make sure they delay your disputes. And one thing that they cannot stand is you working with a credit repair company. They don't want you to really have an advantage. And so they put system in place for anything that looks like it's coming from a credit repair company to reject and delay that dispute. So let's jump into the first step. Now, if you're enjoying this content, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit your notification bell so you can be part of our credit community. Also, I give you a free hard inquiry removal package at my website, and I have other packages for purchase. And I just launched my elite credit system, and the users are getting great results. Here's a testimonial from one of my users, and she was able to increase her credit score and clean her Equifax account. So now she's up in the higher 700 credit score, in less than 2 months since my program has been released. So with that program, I'm offering you guys my coaching and my AI software. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today. Now, step number 1, you want to make sure you're removing your old addresses, because those old addresses where you created that negative account is connected in seeding that negative account to your credit profile. So you want to remove those old addresses. But here's some gems. One thing that they shared with me: before you dispute, you want to put in with the post office a change of address, because the post office shares your updated information and address to the credit bureaus. Amazon also shares your addresses with the credit bureaus. So if you updated that account, or you're disputing that account and you're still receiving packages from Amazon to that address, understand they're sharing that information to the credit bureaus. And the other step that you need to take with your old addresses to make sure you update your bank accounts, especially from the big 4 banks. With the credit bureaus, they get 90% of their information from Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, and Citibank. So it is important that you update your addresses with your current credit cards, bank accounts, because they're sharing this information, your bank, your addresses, to the credit bureaus. The second hack and step you want to take is to make sure you dispute off any aliases or misspelled names on your credit reports. Because here's the thing: with your name, there is somebody in your state, even in your town, with a name similar to you. And so what happens is they can mix your credit profile, and you're getting denials sometimes because of those aliases and incorrect little information. Because understand that with most of these banks or lenders, they're not reviewing your credit profile individually. They're using computer systems to approve you. So when you have inconsistent information and you're going to apply, what happens, you'll get an automatic denial, because it could look like somebody is using your information to create an account under identity theft, because they don't know the information and the security questions to line up with your credit profile. So you need to get that off of your credit report. Any aliases, misspelled names, or just little inaccurate information, because when it comes to disputing, you may have your credit profile being merged with someone else, or that could even be a sign of identity theft, that someone have your information and they're applying. And this is how this inaccurate information is getting on your credit profile, because every time you apply with a lender or a bank, as I said, they're reporting that information to the credit bureaus. Now, this third step is key to remove your negative items, is to find the errors with the reporting of that account. Remember, the credit bureaus cannot report your accounts if it's not 100% accurate and 100% complete. So in the process, you need to find the reporting errors and dispute that error factually. So you want to find the factual errors with the reporting of that account. Also, you want to make sure as you're disputing, they may make some updates and some changes, and then you need to find the new reporting errors. Now, I do have my AI software and my elite credit system that will do that for you every time the dispute come back. But you want to make sure, you guys, that you're changing that dispute slightly, because what happens is if you're constantly disputing the same thing, they can come back with this is a frivolous dispute. So you don't want to put up walls. Also, they have software looking if you're using a credit repair company. So if you are, they might not answer that dispute at all, because under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, they don't have to respond to disputes coming from credit repair organizations. So you want to make sure that you're finding the factual errors, and if you have those facts and you're sending those letters out certified mail, which is imperative that you do that, you can have your proof of the negative reporting and then upload your disputes and the negative inaccurate information to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, who oversees the credit reporting agencies, and you can get that item removed. The fourth step and secret that you need to know, that you have to continue your rounds of disputes. The employees shared with me that all of these bureaus understand that most people give up by the first and second dispute. So as I told you guys, they make money off of selling this negative information. So they already know that if you really have negative and inaccurate information on your credit report, you want that information off if it is really true that it's not correct or it's not your information. So they already have it set up by the third dispute. They understand that this person is really serious. They set up certain hindrance by the first and second dispute, but by the third dispute, they understand that this person is serious and may really have some incorrect information on their credit report. Then by the fourth dispute, you want to make sure that you dispute that negative information with the original creditor. Now, with my credit provider, Smart Credit, they actually have a way for you to send a dispute directly to your original creditor. Now, what those employees shared with me from the three major credit bureaus is that can increase your probability of getting that account removed. Understand, you do have an obligation for any inaccurate information to first dispute with the credit bureaus, and then you need to contact the original creditor, but you need to dispute with the credit bureaus first. So you want to make sure that you are taking those steps to increase your chance of having that negative item removed. Which brings me to my last and fifth credit secret that they shared. They shared that you need to send your disputes from your own address. So what happens is when you have a credit repair company working with you and sending out your disputes, what happens is with that postal stamp, there is information from the zip code that that dispute or letter is coming from. They have software that can pick up where that dispute and zip code that is coming from. So if you're really disputing and sending the letter personally, you guys, understand it's going to come from your zip code. Even if you're going to your post office and sending it certified mail, it's coming from your zip code, and they have information and software to pick up what zip code that letter is coming from. They can pick up if it's coming from another zip code, which is an indication that this is coming from a credit repair company. Like I said, they don't want you guys to really have help, and so they use this as a blockade to not respond to your dispute. So it's important that you're sending that letter from your zip code, and that shows them that it is coming from you. Additionally, I use in my packages and in my system an extra layer, which is a affidavit. So where you would go and get that affidavit notarized that I am the person sending this dispute, and you have an officer appointed by your state swearing that you are the person creating this dispute and you're sending this dispute. I tell people you only need to do that once with the affidavit, and you can use it for your consecutive disputes. Just keep that original copy and then make copies and add it to your letters, so they cannot claim that your disputes are coming from a credit repair organization. So hopefully this information was educational and helpful. So if you have any questions or comments, please drop it in my comment section. Or if you have personal questions for me, you could go to my website and all your questions go directly to my cell phone. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned.